Hello and welcome everybody. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay. We are live from the roof again, so thanks for being here. I will explain what's going on momentarily, but let me first talk about, let's double check that we can see and hear me in the chat. Say something, say hi. Hopefully it sounds okay. I do have a lav mic on, going into the YoloBox, on the wired mic into the YoloBox, so yeah. Oh, quiet compared to the intro audio. Okay, the mic's not loud enough. I can boost the mic. Hopefully it doesn't get distorted. I did not bring headphones up here. I probably should have. Let's try that. Audio is a bit low, people are saying. And where'd the comments go? I'm scared to turn it up and blast my speakers when we queues audio again. I will try to not queue up audio again. Let's make sure that let's see if my chat's gonna work today. The overlay isn't fully off. Yes, I saw something was stuck. Oh, it probably didn't, like, the countdown does like this CSS animation at the end to make it zoom in. It probably got confused about that. Okay. I boosted the audio a little bit, so hopefully it's a little bit better. I don't think I can go much more. A bit more, maybe I can change it on here. Should have charged this. So last week when I was good enough, people are saying, okay. Oh, the live with Cellular, that was a separate graphic. Yeah. The last week when we did this, I was also on the roof because my studio was completely torn apart. Oh, and that battery's, well, we'll give it the last bit of juice. Studio was completely torn apart last week, and it's almost back together today. Almost back together. It is, most of the wires are done. There's a couple of wires left, SDI cables to do left inside the rack from some of the devices, but I have no cameras and no lights set up. So I was like, I don't think I have time to do that again, but we'll do the stream from the roof again. So today we are trying out the YoloBox. So I do have a, let's see, this should show you the YoloBox. Trying out the YoloBox for this stream today. And the same deal as last week, basically. So I have my Canon GH5 II camera, which is this angle, with a, I think it's the 12 to 60 lens, wired HDMI into the YoloBox. This one is the DJI Pocket 3. So I have the little joystick controller. I can move around the camera. And then I also have a NDI camera again, which is my old phone. So the NDI camera I can use to show you what's going on the YoloBox. So this is a completely wireless camera. It's the NDI HX camera app, and that is connected to the same network that my YoloBox is on. And the YoloBox is pulling in the camera over NDI. So it's a nice way to get a handheld camera. You might notice it's a little bit choppy. It's probably just because I'm doing this over Wi-Fi, but it's not terrible. It's workable. Yeah, so networking, speaking of, behind me is my Mint Mobile SIM card stuck in a 4G modem that is being powered from this battery in front of me. Probably overkill because that's the only thing I'm powering from that battery, but it's being powered over PoE from that battery. And then the it is also broadcasting a Wi-Fi network. So normally I would have tried to plug that in over Ethernet to the YoloBox, but for some reason the Ethernet, it wasn't recognizing the Ethernet connection today. I don't know why. So the YoloBox is actually wirelessly connected to that, which is not my favorite way to do it, but that is what we're doing. So that's connected wirelessly. My phone is then also connected to the same Wi-Fi hotspot. Same with my computer. So there's three devices connected to that Wi-Fi, and it's using my cell phone uplink to the internet. Sven says, are you burning through your data again, or did you change the home uplink? I am burning through my data again. I had to just top it off, actually. Hopefully it recognized the top off. Yeah, it did. Great. So we've got 3.4 gigs left on the data plan. What is your upload rate on the YoloBox? You know what? It's not showing me, which is confusing. So I'm trying SRT again today to YouTube, and that meant that on the YoloBox, I went in here and I made a new SRT connection. Oh, there it is. Now it's showing. But what's weird is that I didn't have to press the Go Live button. I just toggled that on, and then it just goes. It just started streaming. But I can see the data rate is about 1 megabit upload, which, now that I think about it, let me see what settings I have in here. Stream encoding settings, CBR. Oh, it's set to 8 megabits. That's too much. I probably can't change it while it's going. I can. And it is set to H.264. I should have changed that to H.265. Will it let me do it in the middle of the stream? Who knows? Something happened. Anyway, it's actually at like 1 megabit, so we'll see how it goes. I don't know if toggling that mid-stream lets me actually change it to H.265. It's not, it's, yeah, interesting. Okay. I see a GoPro there. Let's see how long the battery lasts. So actually, this is a Osmo Action 4, and I was streaming, actually, I guess it's still on. It's streaming to the BTS stream of for channel members, which I had running when I was setting up. So that's not part of this main kit. And I have no idea how long the battery is going to last. Matt says, do you have a handful of bolts and wires left over in the movies? Not leftovers, they're ingredients for the next episode. Yeah. And yes, Nils, there are not enough wires. I have to order more wires. Some of them are coming today, later today, and I think I need a couple more. And I did order too many 6-foot wires. So, okay. That's the deal. Andy says, hello, what topic are you talking about in the live stream today? Well, the topic is ask questions, and I'll see if I can answer them. And I will give you a tour of the little kit in front of me. So, slightly out of sync. Yes, I should add delay for that because the camera's HDMI is out of sync. It's always delayed. So I should be able to do this. It's probably like three frames. So like 100 milliseconds. Let's see if I can do that. I should be able to do on the YoloBox, just add, there we go. If I can find the slider, add 100 milliseconds of delay. That may have been choppy while I was sliding that. Now it should be in sync, hopefully. Let me know. LeVar King says, having problems with my YoloBox losing audio while live streaming using 1/8 inch YoloBox to quarter pile mixer with DJ controller connected to the pile mixer board. What can I do? What do you mean losing audio? Is it just dropping off? That's really weird. I don't know what would be causing that. Nothing should be causing that. It should just work. In the past, this probably isn't going to be helpful for you because you're going from a mixer, but in the past, one thing I've done, which I maybe should have done today, is run the microphone into a camera, and then that removes any sync issues. But also, I've had better luck with audio going into the YoloBox over HDMI compared to the analog. IT Never Gets Old says, did you change the typeface on the HTML graphics? And I like the new look. No, so funny story. Last week, when I used the Director Mini for the live stream, after the stream, Frank messaged me and he was like, why didn't you use the YoloBox? And I was like, oh, I wanted to try the Director Mini, but also I can't get my web graphics to work, my chat to work on the YoloBox. It's the wrong size. And he said, are you sure? Because we fixed it. And apparently it is in fact fixed in the latest firmware update, which just came out, I guess earlier this month. So that is excellent news. But basically, I could never get the, like my graphics and the map and all that stuff that I have for the beginning of the stream. It all assumes that the canvas that it's rendering in is 1920 by 1080, which I did that because I stream, like I pull it into OBS in a canvas that size, so everything's just kind of hard-coded. It's not necessarily hard-coded, but like it assumes that's how big the canvas is. So things like font sizes, if you're like, your font is 20 pixels tall, 20 pixels out of 1080 is going to look this big, but if the canvas was like 200 pixels tall, 20 pixels would look huge, right? So for whatever reason, the YoloBox window was not 1920 1080, so none of my graphics worked with it. But they added a new option, which fixes it. So let me show you that here. So when you're adding a graphics source now, there's a new option in here, which is called auto scale. And the dimensions here are still weird, but the scale now is, if you go all the way to the left, then turn on auto scale, it actually shows up right. This is the graphics of the airport tracker, but without auto scale, you can see it's like, it doesn't make any sense. Like it's weird. So with auto scale turned on, now everything shows up in the right size, and now when I show chat messages here, it actually works. So that is excellent news, because that means I can actually use the YoloBox for live streams and get my full chat integration, which like indexes the timestamps, and it gives you the links you can follow to look up the questions later and all that good stuff. Um, Rodney says, can you connect a mixer via the USB port? Yeah, you can. So this actually improved a lot in the Ultra and in the last couple of firmware updates, but there's also there's a couple of USB ports, and you can plug in a mixer. I have a camera plugged in, but you can also plug in a mixer and bring in audio that way. And it did get a lot better. It used to be that the USB audio in the original YoloBox wasn't very good, but it got a lot better recently, especially in the Ultra. So that could be a way to work around the analog input. Now that I think about it, I actually could have connected this Rode mic over USB also, and then it would charge the receiver as well. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that in a second. Matt says, the only way I get regular good audio is running audio through the Rodecaster and USB into the YoloBox A, not C. USB-C to not work, but I haven't tested it on 2.2.0. Oh, right. I think that, oh, now I can't remember if the USB-C, I think USB-C audio works now on the Ultra. From the Law Library says, I like to split the HDMI signal coming from my 10-bit camera. Is there an affordable 10-bit HDMI splitter? Ooh, I haven't ever looked for a 10-bit splitter. I don't know. I gave up on HDMI splitters a while ago, though. Now I use SDI for everything, and it's just a lot nicer. MT says, any thoughts of preparation the roof for further productions, like a sort of pre-wire and attach points for cameras? I do have, in the ceiling of the roof, there's one behind me there, and there's one over there. There's Ethernet wires. Those are for cameras for, like, the house cameras, like for security system. That wall with the wires dangling out of it, oh, you can't really see it. This wall, which is to the left of me, is I drew a little box on the wall out of tape because that is the size of the TV that I want to get for it. So up there is the wire on the left for the camera. That'll be a TV, a bunch of wires coming out of the wall for the TV. On the right there, that little box is for the intercom system, which will let me buzz people in from the downstairs. And then one of those wires actually goes into that box. PoE powered intercom. One of those is coax for the in-house cable system. And then one Cat6 wire is for network and just like network connection to probably an Apple TV I'll put up there. And then another one is for the video distribution. So it'll be like an HDMI extender, but a matrix. So it'll be down in the server closet. And then sending a video signal over Cat5, convert to HDMI up here. My audio is too feeble. I'm sorry. I don't have a lot of, yeah, this is the problem with the audio over analog in the YoloBox too. I could switch it. I can switch it over. Let's try it. So what I can do is I can move the audio to be connected over USB. So what I'm going to do first is turn this off and then turn on the audio from the camera. So this is the audio from built-in mic of the Osmo Pocket. So you're hearing me from this. You can't really see it. It's right in the wrong spot to see it. There it is. So you're hearing me from this microphone, so it should actually be okay. Actually, let me know if that's like good enough, because I'm just going to sit here otherwise. So I could take this off, take that off, and plug that in up here. Somewhere. There's the USB port. There it is. Oh, it's not powering it. Interesting. But I should have second USB. Okay, I don't know why it's not charging the mic, but there's enough juice in it now. So, yeah, now this is connected over USB, and I should be able to cut over to that. Lots of background noise, yeah, okay. Makes sense. That's what you get with little built-in mics. Okay, so let's switch over to the other mic. And this is the Rode microphone over USB. I do see audio levels still. And let me know if this is any better than the Rode mic before. Okay, so yeah, lots of... Oh, there's somebody mowing their lawn. Or weed whacking, I guess. Better now. Great. I should have thought of that first. USB microphone is better in the YoloBox than the analog inputs for sure. Oh, IT never gets old. Thank you for the PSA. Good point. YoloLive shipped NDI support for the YoloBox Pro this week. So I'm using the Ultra, which lets me do the wireless camera into the YoloBox, which is super handy. But this is on the Pro now too. So if you're using the Pro, you should be able to also get NDI feeds into your YoloBox, whether that's a camera or screen sharing or whatever. Much better, clean and louder. Great. Good, good. Okay. Cool. Alonzo says, what do you think of the Osmo Action 4? Planning to shoot a review. I should probably do a video about it. It has the same problems that most of the little action cameras do as far as using the live streaming feature. Like, although actually this one's different than the GoPro. This one, the camera gets on a Wi-Fi hotspot, and then so you have to start it from your phone to plug in the settings, but your phone can disconnect. So it's actually still streaming to the BTS stream right now. And like, if you look at the phone says live stream is in progress, but I can quit the phone app and it'll still, it's not actually using my phone for the stream is what I mean. It's connected to Wi-Fi. So that's nice. That's different. That's different than the, now I'm second guessing myself. Was it the GoPro or Insta360? One of them requires the phone's connection to stream. Like it goes through the phone's cell connection. Now I can't remember if it was GoPro or Insta360. But yeah, I guess that's a good thing about the DJI Action. But it still has the problems like, that's the only way to get the live stream out really. Like there isn't even HDMI on that one. So yeah. Any option to increase the audio on the YoloBox? Still? Is it still too quiet? I can turn it up. Oh, I also need to add the delay. Let's add the 100 milliseconds and then go up 3 decibels. Yeah. So you're burning your mobile data with 2 simultaneous streams? No, so the Action is on Wi-Fi. It's actually like a, not this Wi-Fi, it's different Wi-Fi. But I am burning data on the main stream. How are we doing on that, by the way? We already used 500 megs. Cool. Michael says, welcome. Michael says, do you recommend a zero low latency passive HDMI switcher for when you need to toggle between infrequently used sources and run out of HDMI ports and doesn't make sense to dedicate a source? This is a good question. Yes, short answer. And I was actually just thinking about doing this myself downstairs in the studio because I have the same problem, except I ran out of SDI ports. So I have like a couple of HDMI sources I don't use very often, and mostly not at the same time on a stream. So it's things like I want to monitor the Blackmagic CloudPod screen. I might need to see the screen on the Raspberry Pi. I might need to see the camera feeds from the Unify cameras, which have that little controller, and these are HDMI sources. So if I one in the mixer, which is SDI, I have to first of all have 3 converters, 3 HDMI to SDI converters, and then dedicate 3 ports in the switcher for those, which is a little bit wasteful just because I don't use them, I don't show them on the screen very often. So I was actually just thinking about sticking an ATEM Mini, the original ATEM Mini in there. It's technically discontinued, but I'm sure you can still find some online. And the ATEM Mini Pro is $295, which is an extremely good deal for the Pro, which has the streaming and recording feature built in, which you don't need for this. So if you can find a ATEM Mini for less used on eBay or something, that would probably be the best option. It's not 0 latency, but it's like 1 frame of latency or something. So it's like about as good as you're gonna get. And it's the nice thing about it is that it's a clean switch, which is like, as opposed to any of the other HDMI splitter or splitter things that you'll find, which are more like unplugging the connection. The ATEM is sending a single video feed out the whole time. So when you press the buttons, it's not gonna like take 3 seconds to renegotiate the HDMI signal. So not a bad idea. And I also don't think you're gonna find a 4-input HDMI switcher that is any better than that at that price. So yeah. Andre, so let me guess, out comes the old Blackmagic television studio. I don't really want to put that back in the rack, but just because it is slightly loud, even with the quiet fans, but also it requires all the sources to be the same frame rate, which is usually not going to be the case for these devices I'm plugging in. Speaking of, for Michael, that is another good use of the ATEM is that it will accept 1080 at a bunch of different frame rates and convert the frame rates to the same frame rate so that you don't have to worry about frame rate issues with whatever else you're connecting it to. Smith1 says, what about the Ulanzi DD02 HD video switcher? Oh, is that the new one that just came out? Oh, I just realized I'm not sharing my computer screen into here. Do I have a way to do that well? I feel like I did last week. Oh, did I do it? I did it over RTMP. I forgot about that. That was such a hack. I don't think I can do it here. Maybe I can get it to work over NDI. For some reason, the NDI apps, I can't get the screen sharing one to work. It's supposed to. There is supposed to be an app, an NDI app that captures your screen and makes it an NDI feed, but it wasn't. It's like not there. Like when I try to download NDI tools, it's super weird. Maybe I can do it over with OBS. If I installed the NDI plugin on this machine, which I think I maybe didn't. So last week I pushed an RTMP stream into the Director Mini. Maybe I can do it over SRT. Let's see. So if we go here, add a new source. What happens if I add a SRT feed? No, because this is wanting to pull from something. And I can't, yeah. So same problem with the Director Mini. This isn't a server. Can I add an RTMP? No, same problem. So really it's just NDI. But how do I get OBS to output NDI feed? I forgot how to do that. Let's see, download. Oh, it's just on GitHub, okay. Well, we can do this. This shouldn't take too long. And we'll see how well this works on the YoloBox. Okay, probably have to restart OBS. And then, is there an option for it? Output, stream, no, tools. I don't remember. Is it just going? Nope. Same, only seeing the camera. Oh, it requires an NDI runtime on your system. I probably don't have that. No, I should have. I should have it because I did install NDI tools already. Let's try the NDI scan converter again. That was the app. Okay, NDI scan converter. Aha, it is working. Let's see if it shows up right. I think what was happening is it was a weird resolution. And it's not working. It's just, oh, you can't even see it. It's just spinning. Yeah, it's not working. Weird. Weird. Oh well. Yeah, Matt, on my live stream I just use USB to HDMI from an iPad, never connected to the computer. That would have been smart, but I don't have the right cables up here to do that, and going downstairs is 3 flights of stairs and up and down, so I'm not going to do that right now. Yep. Yes, and this is why I always carry a spare USB-C to HDMI to every stream. I actually have a cable that's perfect for it, which is USB-C to HDMI in one cable instead of the extra dongle. Oh well. I just want to let you know that it's your fault that I bought 3 Zovitech 4K encoder decoders and I love them. I'm so glad that they're working for you. What are you doing with them? Neil says, I think you can stream SRT to localhost and append mode equals listener. Oh, that's an interesting one. Okay, scan converter is not working. Let's get rid of that. Can I stream SRT to localhost on the Mac, you mean? Let's see if that works. Start streaming. Stream. No, it's just not able to connect. Oh well. You can train the cats to bring cables. That would be a good idea. I'm using to power 3 FS5s with DC out and NDI HX3. Oh, cool. Okay. Great. My son just bought a 3-level house. Us old people like a single story. Yeah, I hope I don't regret having a 3-story house later. I guess the stairs will just keep me in shape. That's how it's going to work. IT Never Gets Old says, for iPhone captures, I use screen capture for NDI HX. Screen capture on iOS seems to be gone from the official NDI tools. Oh, weird. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with scan converter for Mac. Also, terrible name. Yes, hello. Would you like breakfast? There's a very loud crow up there. Cool. Other questions? Anybody? Any other questions in the chat? Let me see if I miss anything. That crow has a question. You should try the OBSBot tail with a remote lav on one of these rooftop talks. Wait, remote lav on the OBSBot? There's no mic input on the OBSBot, I thought. put the escalator in before you need it. Well, we do have a dumbwaiter for at least carrying up stuff. It's actually right behind that camera there. But it is not big enough for people. Here, I can show you. It's that hole next to the camera. There's no door yet on it, but if the exposure wasn't, if it wasn't such a bright background, you'd be able to see the track inside the shaft. Lost your opinion about the Ulanzi switcher. Oh yeah, thank you. I was trying to share my screen to show it, and that's just not working. So we will share my screen the old-fashioned way, which is to put it in front of a camera. This. That switcher. Yeah, I haven't played with it yet, so my opinion is only based on what I've seen with it so far. It looks like the unique thing that it has is the buttons and the base come in two different parts, and they are connected with a USB cable. So it's kind of like having a built-in Stream Deck controller, I guess. But all the buttons are just like, it's a separate module. Kind of cool. The layout of the buttons is very different than other ones I've seen. It has knobs for the mic levels, which is kind of nice. It'd be interesting to get a hold of it. It looks like it's very similar to the original ATEM Mini. It looks like it's just HDMI in and out. And some basic transitions and picture-in-picture, but no like fancy layouts and no streaming built in. So, but yeah, looks like it could be a good option for, well, as we were just talking about, what are the options for if you wanted to like save an input on your main switcher, could you use this? Yeah, but yeah, I'll see if I can get a hold of one to actually try it out, but it looks cute. Nils sent me let's try this in OBS. Send me an SRT stream. Now, well, I guess maybe it's connecting. Let's see, SRT. I have to find my IP address for the YoloBox. SRT colon / SRT colon / 192.168.10. I'm not sure this is going to work, but let's find out. I use port 9001. I guess we just go. It just went into the void. Yeah. I'll have to try that later. That's an interesting idea. The cats could ride the dumbwaiter. +1 for Elevate if you're going to do more rooftop streams. Well, the good news is all this stuff fits into this backpack, so it wasn't that bad. Gwen says, can you control the Stream Deck software from Companion? I know you can do the reverse control Companion via Stream Deck software, but I like to set up Companion triggers for stuff without Companion modules. No, not exactly. The best we tried this a couple weeks ago, and it was okay, but basically writing Apple scripts to do whatever control you want, and then running Apple scripts from Companion, which did work, but it was weird. I don't know if I would, don't know if I would want to rely on that. Sergio says, if you have an OBSBot tail Air, I can confirm it's amazing at a setup like this. It has mic input and SRT streaming. Oh, it does have a mic input. I do have them. That's a good point. If I have to do another rooftop stream next week, I will bring it up. SRT would be also interesting to run SRT into the YoloBox. Interesting idea. Interesting. And they do have good battery life too. I haven't bought the tail Air yet because I haven't figured out another way to add the NDI yet. Do they only sell their NDI license on their website also? That's so weird. Do you have eCam? Pro Plan is NDI output and it's fairly easy to use. I don't have a paid subscription to eCam right now. I did for a little while. Really, I should have just brought that cable. I don't know why it isn't in this bag. I guess because I wasn't using it last week for the Director mini stream. Yeah, so anyway, studio updates. The connections are almost done. I have a rack on the left, a rack on the right, and then a rack under the desk. And started doing the wiring, tried to be more thoughtful about the wiring this time. And I think it's been working pretty well. I started with all the power cords and running the power cords to everything. Tried to like run them in like the corners of the rack and tie them up neat. And then I ran HDMI cables to all the patch panels. So on each of the 2 desktop racks, I have patch panels that break out connections from either devices that are in the rack or converters, so I can like plug in stuff on the table more easily. And so I did all that wiring, and then the last thing I did yesterday on the live stream for members was the SDI. So I did all the SDI runs last, and it's not as clean as I wanted it to be, but I think it came out okay. Definitely it's an improvement over the last version of the rack. So there's at least that. And now I just have to relabel everything. Like everything moved around. I have to double check that all the connections end up in the right spot because I was doing it off of my list I had made. I was just running wires, just looking at the list rather than actually like labeling anything that's run. So hopefully it all came out the way I wanted. And with any luck, next week I'll be able to actually have my show back to normal. We'll see. But I'm curious, would it be interesting to everybody here if I did a live stream in the studio of all that setup? Because like even just getting the map to work and like the show start button to work is going to take several steps, which I have to reprogram how it works because all the camera inputs moved and all the camera numbers are different now. I need to relabel my super source or my multi-views and all that kind of stuff. So would it be interesting to people if I did that live? Because I could like bring the YoloBox down and do a stream on the YoloBox while I'm setting everything else up, and then we can kind of like put it all together. Let me know, because I could be up for that. IT Never Gets Old says, are the OBSBot Tail Airs cameras capable of being powered via PoE? So they only have a USB adapter or a USB plug on the back, but they do sell a USB PoE adapter. So it's like it's actually a nice long cord. So you plug in the Ethernet to that adapter, and then that converts it to USB power for the camera. which is a neat trick, and it works well. Any progress pictures? Not that I can easily share right now, unfortunately. Got a couple of votes for doing it live. Okay, yeah, maybe I'll do that next week then. For this kind of rooftop and similar stream, what are the pros and cons of the YoloBox Ultra versus the Magewell Director Mini? That's a good question. So, I will say there used to be a lot more differences, and I feel like they've both started adding features to make them almost the same now. Like, for example, before, the web graphics didn't really work well in the YoloBox, so I wasn't able to use my normal chat system and show the map and stuff, but now it does, so that's great. Let's see. So there's, I guess, a couple of differences on physical ports, because the Magewell Director Mini has only 2 HDMI, but the YoloBox Ultra has the 3. And still has USB ports, so you can plug in cameras on both. You can plug in audio on both over USB. There are, I guess there's more, maybe that's not actually true. There's more graphics in the YoloBox. Maybe. Not that I really use them at all. The YoloBox has its own bonding service. The Magewell Director Mini has Speedify built in, so that's even very similar now. Yeah, I don't know. What's like... Okay, IT Never Gets Old says the Ultra has a much larger screen. That is a good point. Significantly larger, because the Director Mini is like tiny and the Ultra is like that big. Oh, I guess the biggest difference is the remote control options. So YoloLive does now have a Stream Deck-like box, which I actually have, and I haven't plugged it in yet because everything's been torn apart, and I didn't even think about bringing it up here today, which I probably should have. Would have been a good demo. But it looks like a Stream Deck, but it is only for the YoloBox, and I'll have to play around with that next week. I'll use that for the stream of setting up the gear next week. We'll do that. But the Director Mini has a web page that you can pull up on a computer or a phone, and it has a phone app as well. So there's a little bit more options there for remote control, which is nice, because the touchscreens of any kind are kind of frustrating, in my opinion. Andre says Director Mini already has NDI built in. Ooh, that is a good point. I didn't think about that. That it's not a separate license on the Director Mini. Gwen says, it would be awesome if Magewell or YoloBox comes out with an SDI model, or better, a mix of SDI and HDMI. A mix would be super useful. Because again, like what I really should be doing with my computer screen is plugging in a HDMI feed from my camera, but I'm not going to get a USB to SDI adapter for the computer because that doesn't really exist. I agree. It would be great to see like a couple of SDI inputs. Not going to help me with a rooftop stream because none of these cameras are SDI, but it would help for a lot of productions. Trevor would also like to see the setup. Okay, cool. Well, I will do a setup stream next week then. IDJ Mike says, hey chat, don't forget to like this live. Thank you for the reminder. Thank you for the reminder. There should be at least 44 likes. Yeah. That's helpful. Thanks for the Director Mini versus YoloBox. Yeah, they're honestly very similar now. I do think I actually like the way the audio mixer works on the Director Mini more. I feel like it makes more sense in my head. I don't know if it's actually any different or any different for anybody else either, but I think they're very similar features. Oh, and they also added mix minus on the YoloBox recently for the guest feature, which is great, which I haven't even tried out yet. I don't think well, that's another big feature. The YoloBox has the remote guest feature. The Director Mini does not at all. So That's another big difference. David says, from a remote perspective, is it more effective to use a YoloBox Mini as a streaming device with the ATEM Mini Pro, or is it more effective to use ATEM Mini Pro streaming with the YoloBox connected? From a remote perspective, I'm not quite sure I understand the question. Oh, like if I had both up here doing a stream together, I would say that it makes more sense to have the YoloBox do the stream and feed and connect all your if you have the two next to each other, connect all your cameras into the ATEM, send HDMI out to the YoloBox and do your stream there. And the reason is because the YoloBox has network bonding. You can do graphics faster and more flexibly on the YoloBox compared to in the ATEM. You can stream multiple destinations at the same time in the YoloBox, so it makes sense to use that as like the downstream. And camera switching you can do in the ATEM then, which I like that combination of the two. Matt says, so how much did your top off cost for the Mint Mobile modem? I don't mind super chatting support, thanks. I had to top off, the choices on my plan. I mentioned this last week. Mint Mobile is great if you have a relatively consistent usage pattern for your data and you know you won't go over, because you can get very cheap plans, but if you do go over, the top offs are kind of expensive. So I had the option of $10 for 1 gig or $20 for 3 gigs, and I topped off with, I spent $20 just right before the stream started on a 3 gig top off, and I'm glad I did because I've already used up over a gigabit. So that's the only downside of Mint. What are you doing? Says, is there a way to get Companion or something else to read from a text file to change the recording file name in the ATEM? Ooh, interesting. Can Companion even change the recording file name of the... In theory, I can access my Companion from up here because it is on, and I'm VPN'd in. Look at that. Now I wish I could share my screen. There is an ATEM SDI set file name. So, yeah, there's a set file name action in Companion, which means, could you do... I'm curious why read from a text file? How are you gonna update the text file? You might be able to do something with triggers. Maybe. I don't think Companion can really read files. Yeah. I'm struggling to think of how that would work. Oh, thanks, Matt. Thanks for the super chat to help with the cost. I appreciate it. Help me top off the data plan. Here in the UK, I can get 150 gigs for $20 a month. Yeah, so you can't compare cell phone plans across countries like that because it's ridiculous in the US. The plan I actually have is it's $180 for a year for 5 gigs. So it's $15 a month for 5 gigs, which is fine. Yeah. The Director Mini has fewer inputs, right? Yeah, the Director Mini has 2 HDMIs, and then there's, I believe, 2 USB ports on it. So theoretically, you can have 4 cameras, 2 webcams and 2 HDMI. The Ultra has 3 HDMIs, also 2 USB ports. There's a USB-C port as well, which I think now I can't remember if it supports webcams or mics or both or neither. Gizmo says how much, 150 gigs, how much upstream? Yeah, that's the other thing, is that the stated cap of these cell phone plans is also not really useful to compare, because you have to compare. Sometimes they will say unlimited data, but then it's like 4 gigs of 5G data, and then you drop down to 3G speeds for unlimited, right? Which is not useful. And then how much up are you able to, sometimes they cap how much you can upload. Sometimes they cap the speed at which you can upload. So like, yeah. What, oops, clicked on the wrong one. What iPhone are you using on the stand? Oh, this is my old iPhone XS. And this is my work phone now. So I wasn't gonna, I was like, oh, I'll just pull out the SIM from my main phone and use that, because I still have more data on my main phone. And then I took it out of the case, and I was like, oh crap, there's no SIM card anymore. It's an eSIM. And on the new iPhone 13, there's no SIM anymore, which I'm not a fan of. I like a SIM card. So I can't like move it to another device. But my iPhone XS still has a SIM card, and this is the one that has the 5 gig plan, $15 a month. And this is my work phone. It's not my work phone. It's my phone my old phone that I turned into my work phone, and I stole the SIM out of this for the router that's behind me. But now this is just on the Wi-Fi from there, and it's running the NDI camera, so I can like show you the feed from that camera, which is, you know, the iPhone XS camera, so it's not as nice as the 13 camera, but it's still decent. And I'm pretty sure that NDI feed would be smoother if it weren't doing a double Wi-Fi hop. Still not sure why the YoloBox didn't take my Ethernet connection today. Mobile data is expensive across the pond. In the UK, we can get unlimited data, including tethering. Okay, but do double check that there's not some sort of usage cap. What are you doing? Says, I use a text file with data for the upcoming stream, title, songs. I have to copy and paste in many places. Text file guarantees no formatting gets copied. It would be nice to automate more of that. Yeah, interesting. David says, bonding features attractive to those streaming access to all 3 inputs. I only use cellular with YoloBox as I film from isolated locations. Speed is 1G. 1G? I didn't think that was a thing. iPhone 13 is SIM and eSIM, supports both. Wait, is it not the 13? Am I forgetting which phone I have? Yeah, it's a 15. Sorry, 15. No physical SIM anymore. Michael says, I was thinking about making a file utility for Companion to read files in a directory. Then you could update media sources in OBS. I have a directory of transitions that are similar. That could be useful. Definitely no speed or usage cap. Okay, I mean, you guys are lucky in the UK then. Hadn't realized data plans were so costly in the US. At one of my church venues, I got 100 gig down and 30 gigs up on 4G. Much better than my home broadband. Okay. iPhone 14 is when the SIM went away. Okay, right, okay, yeah. 13 still has a SIM. I gave that one to Lily, and then I got the 15, which is my main phone, and then the XS is my work phone. Got the numbers wrong. It's been so confusing. My wife and I both have the 15 and use the SIM card. Are you in the US? If I remember correctly, maybe it was the 14, but I thought they didn't do this on the 15. But if I remember correctly, there's a different model of the iPhone iPhone whatever 14 or 15 that they sell in other countries, but in the US it's only eSIM. You're in Canada. I mean, I can show you there is literally no SIM card slot anymore. The place where the SIM card slot would be is blocked off. So that's the focus. That's the power button, and that's where the SIM card slot would have been, but there's no slot there. It's just a blank. So, yeah. It could be that the Canada version of the 15 does have the SIM card slot there. EU still has SIM cards. Yeah, I should have bought it in the EU. Can you have Companion run a shell script to read the text file? Not ideal, but maybe it would work. The problem is that you need to get the data into Companion in order to use it in the set file name command. So you would need like a Companion module that exposes a variable that it can read from a text file. Definitely doable. Somebody would have to build that. Order from Canada unlocked. Yeah, that's what I should have done probably. Oh well. It's funny that it's like they just put a blank where the SIM card slot is. Oh well. It looks like we're in the test kitchen again. Yeah, the downstairs studio is still a mess, but by next week, I should at least be able to, if I'm not fully back up and running, which I probably won't because I don't think I have time this week to mess with it, but if I'm not totally up and running, I will at least do a live stream, probably with the Director Mini actually, because I want to use it gives me more flexibility because there's the RTMP input also. I guess that's another difference between the Director Mini and the YoloBox, because the Director Mini can be an RTMP server, so you can push to it, whereas the YoloBox only can pull from RTMP stuff. Wait, there is a generic file reader companion module. Oh, I didn't even think about that. When you need to upgrade, let me know. I'll ship you a Canadian one with a SIM slot. I just got this phone, so it'll be a while. The US version is identical with all SIM card readers, only the case is different. Are you saying that there's a SIM card slot in the phone that's covered up? That's ridiculous. Have I been making progress videos of the studio? Not very many. No, not really. I really should have done better documentation. I did do a time lapse of with this camera yesterday of I stuck it like inside of the rack and it did a time lapse of plugging all the SDI cables. So I should be able to show that on the stream. You should do all your summer streams from the roof. I vote for a barbecue stream. Once we have electricity up here, I could do that. No electric yet, so yeah. And eventually there's gonna be a hot tub over in that corner. And I've never owned a grill, but I did put in a power for a grill over there, so I could do some grilling. Covered SIM slot in the US will be both ridiculous and totally plausible. I mean, honestly, it's easier for them to build the same hardware, like same PCBs, and just mass produce them than making two different versions and deciding how many of them to make. Yeah, exactly. Cheaper to do identical phones without variants, so only one piece is different, which is whether there's a slot or a plug for the SIM. A hot tub stream with companion control. Maybe not in the tub. I have a friend who got his iPhone 15 from China. It has 2 SIM slots. I guess that is wide enough for 2 SIMs. But doesn't have as good a service because of the channel supported. Yeah, so that's the other thing, is they do sometimes have different antennas in them for the different cellular bands. So if you're going to use it in the US, you want to get one that has the right cellular bands for all the US cellular, but oh well. No hot tub time machine, but a hot tub live stream. Okay. Well, should I do one more quick tour of the gear in front of me? Oh, this thing is been streaming for 90 minutes and it's about to die. That's a pretty good battery for that little thing. Floatable stream deck stand. Nice. Hey, let's see what happens if I try to add a second NDI to the YoloBox. Let's see. Make sure I'm on the right Wi-Fi. I am. What's that app called? Shoot. I like that one better. Okay. And then let's go on here and say add video source, NDI. There it is. Shoot. Oh my God. Come on. Done. Yeah, there it is. It works. Okay, so this is my iPhone 15, not 13. This is actually more smooth, which means it was actually that phone's fault, not even the YoloBox's fault. That's great. This is doing much better. So I've got this Anker battery, which is actually way more than I need because it's really just powering the PoE adapter for the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is behind me. I've got the Rode Wireless Pros that I'm wearing. The YoloBox here is on this Inix 3D PK1 Pro stand with the little flippy legs to put it at an angle, which is much nicer than flat. I'll make sure that link gets in the description. I have a wired camera, which is the GH5 Mark II. I don't know why I said GH6. I've never even known that one. GH5 Mark II, which is on its own battery and running an HDMI cord into the YoloBox here. This camera is the Osmo Pocket 3. DJI Pocket 3, what do they call it? Osmo Pocket 3, which is that. And that's just plugged in over USB to there. So that's a USB webcam. I've got my iPhone XS NDI and my iPhone 15 NDI. And then I'm bringing audio in over USB from the Rode receiver. So the Rode Wireless Pro is plugged in over USB now, which is giving us better result than analog, which I had at the beginning. So, and then over on this side is the Osmo Action, which is not part of the live stream. It's just doing its own BTS live stream for members. And it has been running for 90 minutes now, and the battery is about to die. But that is the rig for today. And I do like this Shoot app better than NDI HX, and also the camera on the 15 is a lot better. There we go. DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is the full name. Yeah, they changed it because the Pocket, for the 2, it was just the DJI Pocket 2. Yeah, but no, they've changed it again. Now it's Osmo Pocket again. Ultra is supposed to support 3 NDI feeds. That's right, yeah. And it looks like it supported 2 just fine. Let's hope it doesn't crash. It didn't. It worked fine. Yeah. Most of these things are on their own battery power right now. So the camera's on its own battery. The Rode is on its own battery. The YoloBox is on its own battery. Phones are battery. This thing is getting power from USB, I guess. But yeah. Okay. I think that's about it for today. Any last minute questions before we wrap this up? Didn't catch the name of the NDI app you're using on the 15. It's called Shoot, which is very hard to search for, as you can imagine. Let's see, I have a link to it in... iPhone clean HDMI apps. I made a page for this. I'll drop that into the chat. There should be a link to it on the stream. Have I tried the Micro Studio Camera 4K G2? No, I haven't yet. It's tempting. I don't think I'm going to buy one because I'll try to get one on loan from Blackmagic. I should be able to do that. I don't think I'm going to buy one just because I'm pretty happy with my camera's setup. How is the Osmo Action streaming? It is, so you have to start the stream from a phone, you connect it to the app, and then you configure your stream key in the phone, and then it gets on a Wi-Fi access point, and then it just goes from there. So I disconnected my phone from it, and it's just been going. It's still going. The distortion on the BTS wireless mic might have been from 2.4 interference. I'm just going to assume it's a mismatch firmware update. I haven't updated the firmware in the DJI mics in a while, so I'm going to assume it was that. Have I ever made a Hackintosh? I thought about it. I have never actually done it. Kind of miraculous that everything works great together. I agree. Blackmagic also did not release the ATEM micro panel yet. Looking forward to that. Yeah, that thing, that felt very nice to play with at NAB. Those are the letters. I got to poke it at NAB. It was very nice. Sergio says, so this week the YoloBox is streaming SRT H265 via Wi-Fi. It looks great. No stutter or artifacts at all this week. I'm not actually 100% sure if it's H264 or H265 because when I started the stream, it was H264, and I went and changed it midway while it was streaming, and I have no idea if that actually changes it or not. So it is SRT though, and the YoloBox is doing SRT to the new SRT ingestion that YouTube has. I just don't know if it's 264 or 265. But great that there's been no stuttering or compression artifacts or anything. And Aiden, yeah, no, it's SRT today, which I guess has been working fine, which is good to know. Good to know. Oh, for the members stream, you said that is RTMP. So that's the Osmo Action for Now It Died. That's doing RTMP straight to YouTube for that one. I didn't get the option. There's no SRT in that one, and there's barely options for configuring it in the app. That one just died, so I gotta go make sure I stop that stream. Cool, okay. Let's see if the credits work on the YoloBox. I think so. Hopefully it's not too loud. It's probably too loud. I'm gonna turn the volume down on the graphics. Oh. I can't turn the volume down on the graphics. Do you hear sound? I think there's music playing. Interesting, I don't have an option. No music, says Gwen. Okay, oh well. Thanks to all the channel members for your support. Thanks everybody for joining today. This was a lot of fun. No music at all, oh well. Oh wait, was there no music in the intro either? I thought there was. Oh well, no idea what's going on. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back same time, same place next week. And probably not on the roof. Hopefully not on the roof. Hopefully the studio is back together enough to do a stream down there and I get to show you everything that's gone on in the studio because I'm so excited for the new setup. I think it's gonna be really, really useful. Get to show off more devices faster with all my new breakout cables that are on the top of the desk, and there was music in the intro. Don't worry, we're humming in our heads anyway. Okay, well, no idea why the music didn't work for the outro then. Oh well, thanks everybody, and I will see you all again next week. Bye.